Hey, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Coach Cruise. I'm your host, Brad, for anybody that's new out there. And we do have some special guests, and I have to apologize to these special guests once they come on because I wasn't sure they were going to be able to come on when I created the link for the show and everything today. Normally, I like to put who the guests are and put them on the thumbnail and everything. So we're going to be joined by Carnival Cruise Addicts and Cruise Life TV in just a few minutes here. But I want to say hello to everybody and get all the intro stuff and everything out of the way before we do that. Today, we are going to be talking about bucket list cruises and cruises you've dreamed about going, because I'm going to be going on one of those very soon. In fact, leaving as early as this coming Monday for a cruise that is starting all the way in Australia. It's going to start in Australia and it's going to end in Singapore, if you can believe that. 15 days. It's tabbed as a Journeys cruise by Carnival. It is on the Carnival Splendor. The cruise director there, I believe, is Simon London. So I'll be sure to try to get an interview with him. And obviously, a lot of adventures await. But excited to talk about it. But before we do that, I want to say hello to everybody who's checked in. And I see there's quite a few people. DC Brother wins the gold today. He was the first to check in. And then we had Admin Tim. He gets the silver. And then Sandy Lost Pirate Jenkins gets the bronze. Hello to all three of you. Then we had Freddie Phillips right behind there. Welcome, Freddie. Let's see who else. CLTV, as I mentioned, is going to be on. Justin is one of the rare times he didn't finish on the podium today, but glad to see you here, Justin. We got Scott from Controversial Cruising. Great to have you on, Scott, always. Uncle Dave. Uncle Dave left a funny comment on my most recent video about the Miami party, Miami boat, and it was a crazy party. We'll talk about that a little bit as well, in the boating. I mean, I just envy all of you that can live that boat life down in the Florida area, because that's pretty awesome. Or boat life in general. Ken Pascal is here once again. Great to see him. We got Yoli back once again, fresh off a cruise. She just came off the Carnival Jubilee, so I'm sure she has some things to say about that. Roderick Hawkins, what is up with you, sir? Thanks for coming back again. We have Joe Hupp here. Good to see you, Joe. And yes, I will enjoy that cruise. We got Mike here. What's going on, Mike? And the guitar professionals. And yes, it is a Cubs hat. But as I was telling somebody before, I wear the Cubs hat because of the C. As much, I am a Cubs fan, definitely a Cubs fan. That's one of the two diehard teams. I am a Cub, them and the Raiders in the National Football League. But the Cubs are terrible this year. So I tell people, like, to see a lot of times, and you see I have different colored Cubs hats, to recognize the ocean and things like that. So it's for Cubs, but it's all for Coach Cruise and that kind of thing. So yes, it is a Cubs hat though. Marjorie is back once again. Great to see you, Marjorie. We have Cheryl here. Cheryl is Tim's wife. Great to see you, Cheryl, as always. We got the Nightbot here. Love it. Good to see you there. We have Irie Trail Tours and Transfers saying hello. Good to see you. Michael Allen is back. Great to see you, Michael. Kevin B is back once again. Good to see you, Kevin. Mike is new, and yeah, I mean, great to have you, Mike. Love having anybody new here. If you are not subscribed to myself or any of our guests, would love any of you, all of you, to subscribe. And we got Sherry back once again. Sherry and Jay have been traveling all over the country, visiting people all over the place, and having a good time with family and friends. So great to have you all back here, at least for a day, until your next travel adventure. And I think we're all caught up. So the last thing I was going to say, you see Zoe over here. She's very happy with these little mini treats that I have for her, but I have big treats for her too. Anybody that does a super chat of $10 or more, she gets a big treat like that, and a big high five for you. And then if anybody does a $15 or more super chat, you get me a shot, which right now is Buffalo Trace. And that was from Yoli and Andrew. So thank you for that. And I give you a drawing right now. Last week carrying over, we have Michelle from Cruise Life TV has numbers 1 through 10. Admin Tim has numbers 11 through 20. Frankie Floyd has numbers 21 through 25. And Aaron H has numbers 26 through 45. And if we get up to 100, then we do a drawing for a Coach Cruise t-shirt. And then I cover the cost of shipping, everything else like that. You just have to tell me what color, what size, and we send that out to you. And then also anybody does a 15 or larger thing, we also enter you into the second chance drawing, which is one of our sponsors, the Loud Cup. And I like to say, let's sail away and start this party. So let's bring in, and look at that, just on cue, Sherry and Jay. Let's get you down here. And you are numbers 46 through 95, which means we're only 5 away. So let me do my shot here and take care of Zoe before we bring our guests on. But Sherry, thank you so much for that. And before I forget, let me write you in on that second chance as well. So the second chance, we're going to put you at 46 through 55. And the main drawing, 46 through 95. All right. And then this is for Zoe, courtesy of Sherry and Jay. So high five for Sherry and Jay. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? Okay. She said thank you. It was quiet, but she said it. And cheers. Thank you so much. Very good. Buffalo Trace is not the TX bourbon. Happy to drink that one. Look at that. Uncle Dave, we're going to do our drawing right now because Uncle Dave hooked it up. So he's numbers 96 through 100. And you see here, top of my phone, there is nothing but the time. And let me just go over the numbers again. We have Michelle from Cruise Life TV, 1 through 10. Admin Tim, 11 through 20. Frankie Floyd, 21 through 25. Aaron H, 26 through 45. Sherry and Jay, 46 through 95. And Uncle Dave, 96 through 100. Siri, give me a random number, 1 through 100. 65. And wouldn't you know, Sherry and Jay jump in there, and Sherry and Jay and I message all the time, so I know you know how to get a hold of me. So just let me know what we can get for you, and we will get that sent out to you. And then Uncle Dave, thank you for jumping in there to finish out the 100. So now we're starting a new 100. So anybody that does a super chat from here on, remember, it always carries on. Michelle, Tim G, Frankie Floyd, and Aaron carried over from last week. So the next time we do it, yours will carry over. Sandy Lost Pirate Jenkins, I think I said hi to you already. Harlan is here, Abraham, and I think that's it. I think we got everybody now. So let me bring in our guests, and we have the whole foursome here. Late edition here, so we also have funnelheads coming in. But let's first welcome Carnival Cruise Addicts, followed by Cruise Life TV, and then Andrew from Funnelheads. And look at Carnival Cruise Addicts. You two are amazing.
They are amazing.
They are. Oh my gosh.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Before I do a shot and everything for that, let me just say, I think, Liz, you messaged me a little over a year ago talking about starting a channel. It's like, yeah, you guys should totally do that. You know, you would have fun. It would be great and everything. And then I just saw a couple days ago, you guys celebrating your 1-year anniversary. And how many subscribers do you have already in just the first year?
1,764.
Oh my God. So let me just say, you kicked my butt, because my first year, I got my first 1,000 roughly 3 weeks before my 1-year anniversary. So I know I didn't have anywhere near 1,700 by my 1-year anniversary. So you all are just kicking butt and taking names. So
well,
congratulations.
We had tons of help from you and many others along the way. And it's just big support system. And it's just an amazing community.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys obviously are putting out great content that everybody is loving, because otherwise you frankly wouldn't have that many subscribers, because if you didn't, that many people wouldn't be subscribing. So congratulations on that. And then now we go down to Andrew, who recently just had his 5,000 subscriber.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Great
And
job.
how did that go, Andrew?
It was, I mean, just amazing. I mean, just the fact that 5,000 people want to continually follow the page and, just tune into the videos, like blown away. Never in a million years would I thought that would come true. Just made the channel to really talk about my love of cruising and include my family and include it in memory. So it's huge, and I just love it. And we'll see where it goes, but it's all thanks to the cruise community as well. So I learned from each and every one of you, plus many, many others. I take a little bit from everybody's videos and just try to do better. So
Yeah, no, it's true. And the thing that I love about the cruise community is, like I said, I mean, in theory, like if we were all restaurants, like a fast food chain or something, we'd be competing against each other. And we certainly wouldn't be hosting a show together and talking about how great each other's burgers and fries were or whatever. Like, our burgers are great, but their burgers suck, that. But for some reason, in the cruise community, we can all get along and everybody can support one another and help each other out and things like that. So I was always here getting it. So high five for Carnival Cruise Addicts. Big high five. Say thank you. Say thank you. There you go. That's a hearty thank you. And then next, we have Cruise Life TV, who I had the great pleasure of meeting in person for the first time, because I was just recently down in Miami visiting some cruise family who invited me down for the 4th of July weekend to do some boating and things like that. And they said, "Oh, what night you getting in on?" And I think it was Wednesday. And so they came out and we hit like 3 different bars, and it was crazy. I mean, we got a bit crazy, and we'll keep some of those details to ourselves, but it was a lot of fun. I will say that. So Cruise Life TV, Greg and Michelle, you want to talk about your channel? Oh, not to mention that cup that giant mug that Michelle just drank out of. I was so kind of them to set me up with one of those and send me one of those. So I have this beautiful mug right here. I was just drinking out of it yesterday. So, oh wait, you're muted. Hold on, you're muted.
Oh, okay. So I was going to say that the tumblers are actually limited edition. So we have Cruise Life TV like these, but the big ones, I think there's only we have like
2 left. I think.
2 left. So
Oh wow.
We have
Those
one
are
of a
collector's
limited
items
edition.
then.
yeah. But anyway, we had a great time.
We did.
It was fantastic to meet you. I mean, seriously, it was.
And the night crew.
You're just as
They're a lot
good
of fun.
off the camera as you are on. You're a great man,
Well, Liz and Chris, thanks again here. I'm going to do this shot.
Cheers, you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And is he really that tall, Greg, in real life? Like,
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
Well,
I said, are you that tall?
Liz,
And then some.
well, Liz, you and I are like the same height, basically. So-
I was on my tippy toes and I still couldn't reach.
I didn't know Greg was, the former DJ and all that stuff. He was, in a couple places and,
I live in
down
pretty
to
good
music
height.
and everything. And I was like, okay, I could see the DJ coming out in him. So that was cool. Yeah, but we had a good time. A lot of drinks and a lot of.
Oh, we could have kept on going all
A lot of
night.
fun.
Actually, so we didn't go to bed until like 4 a.m.
Ugh.
Oh my
Even
gosh.
though we left around 2. We went to a diner afterwards. It was
There you
a
go.
good night.
Well, you got to get those late night munchies for sure, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank goodness.
So
Going back to my car the next morning and my whole seat was way back. I'm like, I slept.
She slept on the way to the diner.
Mhm.
yeah. Well, and New Year's Eve we get to run all that back again, except it won't be 1
Yeah.
night, 7, so that could be dangerous. Yeah, but so back to the topic at hand or whatever. We're going to start off because, like I said, I may not be able to go live tomorrow. I hope to. I'm probably going to be in LA, but I could be on a plane headed for Australia next Tuesday. So we'll see if I'm able to go live or not. Hopefully I'm in a position somewhere where I can, but there's a good chance I won't be able to. So this might be it. This might be the last live before I'm on the other side of the world. And then I got to figure out time zones and things like that to figure out when to do the next show live somewhere from Australia. So that will be definitely a lot of fun to go live from Australia. Hopefully it's not at like 4 a.m. in Australia time or whatever, the 7 o'clock back here. So anyway, starting in Sydney, Australia, I know we go to like Airlie Beach, Cairns, Brisbane. Those are 3 of them. We go to Lombok, Indonesia, which is very close to Bali. And then it ends in Singapore. And then there is like 9 sea days of the 15. 9 of the 15. So there's I might have missed a port. I think there's 4 ports in Australia, and then Lombok, Indonesia, and then finishing in Singapore. So we'll see, but a lot of sea days, but that's okay with me because
points on the a lot of time for you to rack up points at the slot machines, right?
I was going to say, Coach, you'll probably hit the 30 to 40 like we did in that time frame.
No, honestly, I think the wise move for me is not to spend a dime in the casino for like the first week, because that could end up being a hell of an expensive trip. If I get started too early in the casino, I could be chasing that money for the next 14 days, and that could get ugly. So
the dream cruise could turn into a nightmare cruise.
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
you could win a lot in that first cruise and then just, play with the winnings. You never know.
Yeah. Well, I've told, because, I'm somewhat of a, gambler myself, and I've told myself all these things like, okay, I'm going to budget myself to $200 a day, and if I lose that, then that'll be it. But then that all goes out the window when you go to the table with $200 and it's gone in 5 minutes, and you're like, what the hell just happened? I had $200 and it's gone. And then you're like, all right, give me another 200, and then it's like 500, and then you're like, oh my God, I spent this much money or whatever. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, super excited about that trip. I have done a Mediterranean cruise with Anita before, and obviously Anita's going with me on this one, and so we're super looking forward to it. But I have the suspicion, I mean, unless we were just absolutely blown away, that this could be like a one and done, because there's other places in the world that you want to see. And you kind of want to see all these places at least once, unless one is just so breathtakingly beautiful. You're just like, oh my God, we have to come back to this. So I think that's the position, at least going into it, that I'm going to be thinking. So Andrew, I'm going to start with you, because I know you guys have done a couple of cruises like this. One of the cruises you went to is Iceland, which is on my bucket list. So can you tell us about that experience that you all had, going to Iceland and that?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's one of those experiences where you never know if you're going to get back there. And if I'm honest with myself, I would say I would go back there in a heartbeat. But money-wise, time-wise, there's so many places in the world that I want to see. Realistically, I have no idea if we'll ever get back there. I hope. So one of my biggest things is, if you're going to these places like Iceland, Alaska, Australia, like this and that, places that you've had on your bucket list that you've wanted to go to forever and ever, and there's an activity, excursion, something that you want to do, and it may be a little bit pricey or out of budget, just go ahead and do it, because you never know if you're going to get back there. You spend all that money to go, you might as well just splurge a little bit. You'll figure it out, later down the road. You'll never regret spending that money. I mean, honestly, we spend so much money on casino, drinks, this and that, and our daily lives, food. So just go ahead and do it. But it was an amazing trip. I mean, once in a lifetime. We were lucky enough to fly over to London, drive down to Dover, took back-to-back cruise. It wasn't the most perfect scenario, because unfortunately the Carnival Pride actually broke down like a couple of days before were set to get on the ship, but it all worked out in the end. And even though we did miss a couple ports in Scotland, we still went to Scotland, Iceland, Northern Ireland, Wales, and I mean, some of the places that we thought that we would really, really enjoy maybe weren't as enjoyable as we thought they were going to be. Like, we had these huge aspirations for Reykjavik. Although it was beautiful, we really enjoyed like Western Iceland and Northern Iceland way more, just because it was a lot more remote. Again, Reykjavik was amazing, but we would much rather be in those isolated places with the nature and just like the small community feel. So yeah, it was absolutely epic. We also did Alaska. We've done the Mediterranean as well, and hopefully we're not going to stop. There's many places that we have on our bucket list, and although I like to think that we're going to hit all of them, you just never know. So we're going to try to do, just check it off as it goes, and if we can get back to some of these, then that's awesome. But
yeah, and I mean, just to touch on kind of what you said, you do never know. And the other thing is, you want to travel when you're still able to enjoy it.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I think you can enjoy travel anytime in your life, but to do some more adventurous things and things like that, and to be more mobile and such, you want to do that stuff as early as possible so you could really explore and enjoy the countryside and the scenic beauty and everything. And like you were talking about Iceland, different parts of Iceland. I mean, that's what's so enticing to me. We're actually thinking about not going to Singapore. I know Singapore is a beautiful city, but we're thinking about getting off in like Bali because of more of the scenic beauty. Because I mean, that's the thing that really does it for me. Not so much the big cities and all that. I mean, I live in a big city.
Right.
What the city looks like. I was just in New York, Times Square. It was amazing and stuff. But it's a city. And Singapore is a city. I mean, I know it's a different city and there's different architecture, and I know it'll be awesome if we go. So I mean, I won't be disappointed if we go. But at the same time, I'd rather see like this absolute beauty, natural beauty. That's just a personal preference, but it could be different for anyone. Oh, Joe Hupp, thank you. He said your Australian ports are Sydney, Brisbane, Airlie Beach, Cairns in that order. And well, like I said, we had Lombok, which is in Indonesia, right next to Bali, so it'll be beautiful. And Bali, obviously, and then Singapore. So I think that's all the ports. And like I said, a bunch of sea days or whatever. So Cruise Life TV, Carnival Cruise Addicts, have you been on one of these types, or what do you go to if you haven't been?
Only thing we've done outside the Caribbean is when we lived in New England. We actually went from New York up to Canada, the Bay of Newfoundland and stuff like that. And that was absolutely gorgeous. The tide is a 35-foot tide surge. So, when you get off, you're on, deck 1 or deck 0. And then a couple hours later, we're now on deck 2, now on deck 3, and then back down. So that was pretty cool. But what are yours?
I mean, Australia is on my bucket list for sure, along with Alaska and the Mediterranean and the European. Iceland, I don't know. It's beautiful. And I've seen, obviously, your videos, Andrew, but like, I don't know that that's one of our top bucket lists. I mean, I think it's going to be Alaska. It's going to be Mediterranean and Europe. And what?
I was saying Iceland. Me.
Oh, you want to go to Iceland?
Yeah, I love like Coach was saying, the architecture and stuff like that, the different cities, but I don't know, there's the beauty of the natural landscapes and stuff like that. Because we live in Florida. We're on a giant freaking sandbar. Everything's flat. You know what I mean? So
yeah, we get excited when we see like a mound of dirt.
Yeah, there's a place in Florida called Mount Dora, and I think it's 142 feet above sea level. They call it Mount Dora. So, but yeah, I mean, just to agree with Liz 100%. Alaska, I would love to do a transcontinental. Just to go and then whoop. Instead of flying there and flying back, going over to Europe, hitting the ports in Europe, and then just taking the boat back to Miami and driving home. So
that's cool.
I think that'd be great myself.
I want to do that too. So yeah, that's good. So Greg and Michelle, what about you two?
Yeah, so actually we are going to attack one of our bucket lists next year where they cruise to Alaska. That'll be our first time there.
Beautiful.
And we've been looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And
Trying to book excursions, and like you said, Andrew, we had our mind on something. We really were going to go ahead and pull the trigger on spending the money on it, but now we found out that our cruise is a little too late for that particular
we're at the end of the season.
Yeah. So the helicopter ride up to the glacier with where the dog camps are, the Iditarod dogs. So we're a little too late for some of those, but they've got other options that we're going to do. But so the tip is, before you book your cruise, make sure what season it is. Look at
if you're planning on doing the excursions, make sure those excursions you want to do are available.
Are going to be available, because it might not be on that time of the year for certain things.
Right.
And then of course our Mediterranean, we have that plan. We don't have it booked yet because they're not booking that far out ahead, but
2026.
Yeah. And so some of the ports that we definitely know we want to do is Istanbul.
Yes.
Right. He's been to the Grand Bazaar. I want to go. I want to go to
Greece.
Athens, and I wanted to go to Santorini, but we might just do Athens and Mykonos, depending upon the itinerary.
Yeah, because the Mediterranean used to be, I did the Mediterranean once before about 10 years ago, and you would start in Spain. And you'd go from Spain to France to Italy to Greece to Turkey, back to Greece, back to Turkey, and then you end up in Venice for 2 days on the ship, and then you would fly home. And that was like a 10 or 11-day cruise. They've cut it in half now. You can't get all of that in one shot, from what I could see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our bucket. Well, that's what's on the bucket list.
That's what we've got definitely planned, but Australia is definitely a place that both of us want to go.
Australia is on our bucket
New
list,
Zealand,
and I would really love to do like a trip around the world kind of a thing. That's
I know Tim G had mentioned that in on the Coach Cruise Facebook thing earlier today, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's the ultimate, to do like a cruise around the world. You definitely got to have some money, and obviously you got to probably be retired or have some kind of a job where you can
or close to death, and you use that credit card to max it out.
There you go.
Yeah, the other thing with the long cruises, you can't really have pets if you want to cruise around the world, and we love our animals, so I don't know that would be the toughest part of a really long cruise, doing a cruise around the world or excessive amounts of cruising, is we love our pets,
Yeah.
Yours is on screen. So,
well, and speaking of her, it's like, the last 2 days I've walked her like crazy. We walked so far 7.5 miles today, and I might take her out again. And then, I'm actually visiting some family downstate, my sister and stepmom and stuff, and I'm going to take her with me, but I'll spend a bunch of time with her down there before leaving her with my sister. And, then we're basically gone for 3 weeks. So, she's going to be, without us for 3 weeks. So I gotta spoil Zoe right here. Right now she's eating Euro meat. Normally she's getting like hot dog meat. So you notice she hasn't jumped down from the chair, and she just like feeding
her the good stuff.
But let me say hi to a couple more people that checked in, and if I miss somebody, please speak up again. Cruz Bolero, I think I mentioned you. Together We Travel, I don't think I mentioned you, so welcome back to Fam Adventures are here. I know Will G checked in. I know Angie, 1/3 of the Charlie's Angels is here. And I was just speaking with her because she's going to be coming to Chicago with her son to watch a Cubs game at some point in the near future. So I was just talking with Angie a little bit earlier. Let's see. Did I get everybody? I hope I did. Scrolling down here. Bone Tired Travelers. My motto, adventure before dementia. Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I like that saying. And then also a couple of you have already started doing it. Somebody I saw on here. Uncle Dave, new bucket list cruise for me is Santorini, Greece. And yeah, that's another place that I haven't been. So that is a great place. It's absolutely beautiful. And I know somebody actually who just went there not too long ago. So saw some pictures from that. Oh, and here, look, we got Rick Wade here, did a $5 super chat. Just got my electricity back on. I see all my favorite cruise bloggers in one spot. Look at that. That's all four. Well, thank you for that, Rick. And let me write you down here.
Glad you got your power back. Hope it wasn't too bad. Hurricanes suck. Trust me. We know.
Yeah, we know.
So, Rick, you are numbers 51 through 55, which means we only need 45 more in super chats or super stickers, and we will do a second shirt drawing. The first shirt drawing today was won by Sherry and Jay. And again, thank you for anybody that supports the channel, does a super chat. We will get you down on here. We got some other people. T-Boat on the go. Now, New Elites came out. Mediterranean Cruise next September on the list. There you go, T-Boat. I love it. Let's see. Glow Bees Travels is here. Hello, Glow Bees. Great to see you here. Scott, I already mentioned. He is a big friend of the travel, another one of our favorite channels. And let's see. Wow, I missed a lot of comments here. Tim is saying, glad you weathered the hurricane. In regards to anybody in Texas and anybody that's been affected by the hurricane. We got Seg 183 is back. Good to see you, Seg. Let's keep going. Wow, a lot of comments. I love it. Sean is just checking in. Mediterranean Cruise for me, he says. Kimberly Lovell is here. Great live, she says. Thanks, everyone. Going through. Yeah, Rick is saying that was a hairy one, so it must have been bad. But glad you got your power back, and hopefully things are turning around. We have Brub Bale, the Adriatic Sea along Croatia and Slovenia is beautiful and inexpensive, locally owned cruises. Enjoy the new ideas. Thank you, panel. You know what? Marina, I just came off the Venezia, and she lives in Croatia, and she was telling me about, they just bought 4 like units that they're converting to like vacation units, and she's like, you should come to Croatia. It's beautiful. And I saw something on Netflix about one of those people that like eats all the different foods and stuff. And I think Croatia is one of that place. It's mostly that, they speak a bunch of different languages, but English is one of the common languages. So it's not a place where you go where you're just going to be like, oh, nobody knows English. Not many people know that, but what I've seen of Croatia is beautiful. So Brub Bale, I know you're new to the channel because I would have remembered that. So thank you for joining us. And yeah, let's see here. Bone Tired Travelers, I mentioned. Wow, there's so many comments today. This is awesome. I'm trying to catch up with everybody. And okay, we're finally down to the bottom. Uncle Dave, seems my bucket list is getting longer staying in here. Yeah. I think that'll happen. And you know what? I just had some cruise fam, and it's not the main cruise fam I was hanging with on this last Miami trip that I did, but I did see them. Monsi and Lewis, they went to Japan, and they did a cruise through Japan, and they had a whole big group. And the cool thing was the one night that I saw them, they were at some bar restaurant, and the whole table, there must have been about 12 of them. And they're like, yeah, this entire group, we all went to Japan together. So they coordinated an insane trip where they go all the way to Japan, and they had like 12, 14 people all right there. And they all had gone to Japan together. And, I asked Monsi about it. She's like, oh, it's so amazing. I want to go back, so that's the thing. I love the idea of going to Australia and seeing some new place and all the, like Bali, I've heard a lot about, and Indonesia and possibly even Singapore. But, maybe it will be so amazing, but I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I will skip something on my bucket list to go back there twice because nothing can be this beautiful. And, from some of the YouTube videos I've seen of some of the places, on this cruise, it could be. So we'll see. And we got Z's Gaming here and Home Theater Channel. Good to see you as always, Z. And so I think we're all caught up. Harlan says, hit the thumbs up when I first came in the chat room. And thank you for reminding me of that. And yeah, anybody new to the channel, I know so many people have said, thanks for all these ideas. And we have all the content creators here, but you have Andrew from Funnel Heads. You have Liz and Chris from Carnival Cruise Addicts. You have Greg and Michelle from Cruise Life TV. So if you're not subscribed to all of us, and of course I am the Coach Cruise channel. So yeah, we would appreciate any support. If you subscribe to any of us, we will be most appreciative. And if you could hit that like button for this particular show, we can help more people get these ideas as well. So, all right, well, let's get back to it. Now, we talked about Alaska a little bit, and I know that Andrew, I've been to Alaska a couple times, done some great excursions, but one excursion that Andrew did in Alaska, and Greg and Michelle, I don't know if this will be a possibility for you. Maybe this is the one you were talking about. But they actually took a helicopter and landed on top of an iceberg and then got to hike on top of the iceberg and drink water fresh off the iceberg and stuff like that. So, tell us about that experience, because I know that one is hit or miss whether you can even go on it. So luckily for you, you were able to.
Yeah, so actually the crazy thing about it was we knew it was kind of like a 50-50 shot at doing it because it's canceled a lot just because of the weather. They say in Alaska, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes because it'll change, and it does. It's very, it's kind of like Florida. It's like 1 second beautiful, next second thunderstorms for 5 minutes. So so when we were able to go, the fog had cleared and we were able to take the helicopter no problem, but the group before us and the group after us were unfortunately canceled. So we were super lucky to be able to do it. It was one that was really expensive. We didn't really have the money for it, but again, we were there. We're like, we'll figure it out eventually. So it was me and Michelle. Little man was on the ship at camp. It was booked through Carnival, so they were watching him while me and Michelle did our thing. And then once we got back, we got him and took him off this was in Juneau, so we went out and about in the town, so he got to experience it. And we were also in Juneau twice because we did the back-to-back cruise, so we took him out for 1 full day, and then he got a half day there as well. But yeah, we took the helicopter from the airport in Juneau, landed on the Mendenhall Glacier. Absolutely amazing, like one in a lifetime experience. We would have liked it to be a little bit less guided, but we understood that it needed to be for safety and that, but we kind of wanted to explore on our own just a little bit, maybe not alone, but like kind of just freely a little bit more instead of very structured. But absolutely amazing. We had like 2 hours on the Mendenhall Glacier. Came back and then spent the rest of the day outside of, the local Juneau, experiencing the duck fart shots and the I forget what the bar is where the planes land right outside of the cruise ship, and we just got to experience all of that. So it was absolutely amazing. But honestly, the best excursion that we did, that was our second favorite, if you can believe that. Our best excursion was the Tracy Arm Fjord excursion, which is basically going through the Tracy Arm Fjord, and then you board a smaller, basically like tender or like a double-decker ferry, and you get to pull up to another glacier, and you can hear, the glacier crack apart, drop. It sounds like thunder. Like you're right there. It was so cold. Like it was raining on us. Again, this was me and Michelle. We knew Rhett would just be super cold, although they did have an inside to it. We saw whales, it was just unbelievable. It was only 2 hours, but best money, best time we've ever spent in our lives. And
what month did you go?
Remember it forever.
What month was it you went there?
So we did, it was mid-July to early August when we were gone.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So the thing about the Tracy Arm Fjord excursion, I don't know if you guys are, I'm sure you're going with Carnival. What ship are you guys going on?
We're on the Spirit, and Michelle actually booked that one, so we're going on it for sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Okay, good.
Depending on
Because
the
a lot of
Zodiac.
times people don't know about it because it's like on the first day, on the embarkation day, that you have to like look at the tour. For some reason, like Carnival doesn't have it right under their website, so a lot of people miss it without even knowing about it. So that's awesome. You guys are gonna have an amazing time, huh?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's great.
Real quick, just want to say hi to a couple of people. We had Eddie Lugo is here at Lugo Studios.
Yo.
He's a friend.
Yo, ¿qué pasa?
He's
Or
a
¿qué
friend.
pasa?
so many content creators. He posts on almost everybody's site, what the schedules are for, if you want to watch particular, different content creators when they're on and things like that. I know he posts that on Coach Cruise, and I don't know if he posts on your guys' stuff as well. But yeah, so he's a friend to so many. So good to see you, Eddie. And then we had the Traveling Gilberts checking in. And
Hey.
so I think, again, if there's anybody I missed, please post in the comments because I don't want to miss anybody. If you're here and I did not mention you, I wanted to mention. So we talked, Andrew shared a couple of his favorite excursions, but, I know like Liz and Chris, you haven't done all the stuff that you wanted to, but excursions that you have done or beaches that you've gone to that you've absolutely just loved, are there any one or two that stick out as your favorite? Like this was the best thing we've done, or?
I mean, for me, honestly, Half Moon Cay, even though there's like not much going on, it is one of my favorite beach days. The water there is just so beautiful. We tried to get a cabana, although now the prices of them have just gone through the roof. So
Nuts.
I don't know if we'll do that again, but like we absolutely love just a chill beach day. And
Yep.
and the water is just so crystal clear. That's like our favorite, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely one. And we did I think it was Honeymoon Beach in St. Thomas. And it was a party boat, paddle boat, where you can pedal. Thank God it had a motor.
Yeah.
Because, they're feeding you rum punch, but it was a really cool, short, low-speed cruise from the cruise port just basically through where the islands break and around the corner to Honeymoon Beach. And Honeymoon Beach was great. They cap out at, I think they said, two of those size boats and two catamarans, and the catamarans are actually snorkeling. So you have the whole beach to yourself, and it was absolutely amazing. It was, the water was clear, it was quiet. They brought the drinks off the boat. That was actually one of the cooler ones, I would say, as well.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, a floating bar, and then you end up at a beach.
Yeah, with a bar.
Yeah.
You get back on the bar to go to the bar.
You can't go wrong, like if you're in it with a bunch of people and you're all drinking and everything. The day might start off subdued and stuff like that, but once everybody gets a few in them, you're like all BFFs, the rest.
Yeah.
of
So GMM, to their question, you don't get bored on cruises. You really don't. Personally, I don't think so. There's always something to do, especially some of the newer boats. They have so much stuff to do. You can't get to it on a 7 or 8 day cruise, so whether it be excursions or stuff on board, I don't know. I personally never get bored. I actually have to force myself to take some me time, sit on the balcony and just chill. Just like at the house.
We've all said this, but like when you get back after a cruise, we've all said this, we need a vacation.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah. Well, and yeah, just to speak on GMM's point, well, Angie says it here. I do not feel confined on a ship between friends, all the people you meet, some relaxing, whatever. By confined, I don't know if you mean like you can't go anywhere else beyond the ship. If that's what you mean by confined, I guess you're confined. But there's so many open areas, open decks, things like that I don't think, you ever feel confined. And even though, some people complain on ships, certain areas are busy. There are certain areas. But then there's also areas that you can find on the ship that almost nobody is there, and you can kind of seek solitude if you want to, if that's what you're looking for. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't feel ever confined because there's always somewhere to go to, whether it's Serenity Deck or, some bar that hardly anybody's at, whatever. You can find a place, or whether if you just want to find some place where nobody is at, there's, places on the side of the ship that are in the shade or something like that I never see anybody sitting in. And you just go there and hide out and, be good with everything. A couple places that, this is Caribbean places because I know most of the people watching are, Caribbean is your primary destinations. But, two particular excursions I'll give you is in Belize. There's and Carnival I've seen starting to offer this excursion, but they used to not to, and I had to go through an outside vendor. But if you take a water taxi or if Carnival is offering it, you can go up about 45 minutes just off the shores of Caye Caulker, which is another little island. It's a charming little island with a bunch of shops and things like that. But there's this place called Shark Ray Alley, and it's habitated, or it has some nurse sharks, a whole bunch of nurse sharks, and then stingrays. So some people are familiar with Grand Cayman and Stingray City or whatever it's called, and it's just a bunch of stingrays. Well, this is upgraded because here you get nurse sharks and you get stingrays, and it's some areas, depending upon exactly where you go, you can stand in the water and the nurse sharks are swimming all around you. And some people are like, oh my God, I'm not going anywhere near sharks. These sharks can't bite you. Their teeth are like those little teeny tiny teeth. I mean, I guess maybe they could bite you, like break the skin, bite you, but they're eating like teeny tiny fish and that kind of thing. So you get the adrenaline rush of seeing a fish that looks like a shark swimming all around you, but without the fear of it being able to devour you and kill you. So you get the best of both worlds. And then, the stingrays, as long as, you're not trying to grab them on top of them and everything else, they're just swimming around and ignoring you too. So that is like a super cool excursion. The water is crystal clear, like a swimming pool, and you're seeing beautiful fish and, coral and all that kind of stuff. And then the other one, I've been talking bad about it, but one of my favorite excursions is in Amber Cove, and that's a Dama Agua Waterfalls excursion.
Oh, we love that.
Yeah. Carnival's making you go down the slides now, but if you book outside of Carnival, you can still jump off the waterfalls. And it's a natural waterfall, and I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. You get that adrenaline rush. Everybody's in life vests and helmets and things like that. And trust me, at the time I did it, I'm a little lighter weight now, but I weighed 280 pounds. So if I can jump into those waterfalls and not get paralyzed or kill myself or whatever, almost anybody else can do it too. So there is that one, not too much, but those are just two on the top of my list. So anybody that's in Australia that might be coming to visit and do a Caribbean cruise, if you go to one of those two ports, you can look into that. Or if you're just, watching the show in general, to check out some great excursions. Those are a couple for you. So Greg and Michelle, how about your excursion recommendations? What would you say?
Yeah, well, Coach, you basically said it, because I think my favorite is Amber Cove, jumping off into the water at the falls.
I think that has to be one of my favorite too. The other one, which isn't available anymore on Carnival cruises, just because I don't think they're in Puerto Rico long enough. But we did the zip line, the Toro Verde, the Green Bull, in Puerto Rico. It's like the longest.
It's the second longest in the world.
Yeah, zip line in the world, and there was like 14 of them that you're going on. So you're going on the short little ones all across. And then the last one, you're like laying down like Superman style in a harness thing of going way across this huge ravine. And wow, that was really exciting. So those were two. Yeah.
But I got to say, the last excursion that we did, which was an onboard excursion, was last February.
Uh-huh.
The John Heald FFS number 6.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So booking that, that was the FFS. Yeah. Oh, and the other one is Behind the Fun. So that's an excursion.
So there's a lot of things you could do on board, which a lot of people may not realize. They're offering all these different types of, onboard excursions. You don't have to get off the ship.
Right.
It's true.
Like our sushi making class that we did.
That was fun.
That was fun too. And so we're looking at doing some more of the cooking classes. I know Chris and Liz, you guys did a cooking class, right?
The pizza?
The pizza? Did you guys do a cooking class? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, had the mute on real quick, but yes, it actually, and we ended up buying a pizza oven, a little Uni pizza oven, because of the pizza class, and we've done it at least twice so far on the cruises, and they're great. And I absolutely love those. The Carnival Kitchen is a great one. One thing I forgot to mention too, if I could jump in on yours, I apologize, is the aquarium in Nassau. Oh. I love that. You get to the aquarium itself is amazing. If you buy the pass, you can actually get on property and you walk through the shark tunnel. So that, Coach, what you were
Oh,
saying,
you mean Atlantis?
yeah, Atlantis,
Oh.
and that's what reminded me of that. Is there's a literal shark tunnel where there's hammerheads, sawtooths swimming over you in a glass tube, and you get to walk through it. So, I mean, I think that's a really underrated. I don't even know if it's a tour, actually. You can go there and then buy a day pass to do the aquarium there. It's well worth it, and it's very inexpensive, and the property is quite pretty.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I've done that. And yeah, that is some beautiful sea life and stuff that's available at Atlantis. So if you are doing the Bahamas, especially now with Celebration Key getting ready to open up in the coming months, you know, that will be an area that is definitely visited more often, you know, I think by Carnival. So yeah, I mean, Atlantis is definitely an excursion itself. And they have a bunch of other activities like, you know, water activities and things like that you can do in addition to, you know, kind of touring and checking out all the sea life. And there's some sea life that you can tour and just walk around Atlantis that you don't even get charged for. You know, so I mean, that can be a free excursion for some of you. We have a few more people that checked in. Stacy, hello. Keeping Up with the Griffins, hello. Harlan, I think I mentioned you earlier, but if I didn't, hello. Warmstrong, we got Bill from Warmstrong Ventures.
Oh no!
Mr. Bill. Lourdes is going on the Vista. That's our New Year's Eve cruise, Cruise Life TV and myself. So I hope that you do have good weather, because obviously that makes all the difference. We have Alice Lugo Studios here, and I hope I got everybody. I hope I didn't miss anybody. But again, if I did, put your in the comments again. And yeah, so I think we're all caught up there. So does anybody, you know, have another thought they wanted to add here, you know, in regards to?
We were just remembering, I guess maybe mentioned Mexico. So we did with Caitlin and Corey, the Xcaret in Mexico. Was it Cozumel?
There's two of them. There's Xcaret and Explore.
Explore. Oh, did we do Explore?
We did Explore.
Ah.
And that's in, it's actually it's Cozumel, but it's in Cancun.
You have to get on a bus and go there, but
boat.
it was really fun. It was really cool. They had all sorts of activities within that one place. So they had a zip lining. They had this little boat that you paddled in. They had
the 4-wheel.
Oh yeah, the 4-wheel. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, go mudding.
Yeah, through caves and trails and stuff, and
then a really nice elaborate like luncheon at the end.
and included a nice buffet lunch. So that was a pretty cool excursion.
Have any of you heard of it or have done this excursion?
No.
We went to Cancun. We actually stayed in Cancun on a non-cruise. Once, like we've been to, like, I know.
But I wouldn't take the bus from Cozumel to Cancun because it's a boat.
Yeah.
You gotta hold your breath.
But we did. We went to Xcaret, or however you said it.
Xcaret.
Yeah, we cruised.
It's cool. We did the zip line there. That was the one and only time I ever did it. I did it. It was great. Never again, like kind of thing.
You went underneath the waterfall. Did you?
Yeah. No. Yes. We're not. You know, I'm not that adventurous in my old age. So, but it was fun. I would definitely do it for the younger folks out there.
And Andrew, did you say what your favorite Caribbean ones were?
No. I mean, if we have time, I have a couple that pop up off the top of my head. I mean, actually, one wasn't even cruiser related. It's when we stayed in Cozumel at an all-inclusive, and we took the ferry over to Playa del Carmen and skydived. That was amazing. I'm very afraid of heights, but I knew I always wanted to do it, and I was going with my wife and my best friend, and I was like, there's no better moment than now, so I just sucked it up and went. Glad I did it. Done. Awesome.
Not doing it again.
They want to go. Actually, my buddy is on the amateur skydive team for US, so he's done. I don't even know. He's like, last time I talked to him, it was over 500 dives, and I was on his very first one. So he's super into it. But yeah, I was one and done. That was amazing. Pretty inexpensive for skydiving, unless you get like the picture video package and all that. This was probably 10 years ago, though. Also, Belize. However, I love the what is it called? The cave tubing. Absolutely love that tour. You just basically sit in a tube with a nice helmet on, with a flashlight, get to see all the pretty views, pretty chill, drink some Belkin beers, some of the best local beers in the Caribbean. So that is an amazing time. And the last one I wanted to mention real quick, and I think the cruise industry is kind of steering away from it as a whole, is scuba diving, but there's intro to scuba diving that I would really recommend if a cruise offers it. I would recommend doing it in like Cozumel. That's where we did it. And me and Michelle are both scuba certified now because we loved it so much. But it's basically like a super in-depth snorkel dive. I mean, you're 20 feet down, but you're breathing underwater. You're experiencing everything. They're showing you a thing or two. You're seeing amazing wildlife. I mean, it's just amazing. And you get like the benefits of scuba diving without risking your life. So it's like, if you're kind of on the edge of like, maybe I should try it, maybe not, like it's worth it. And it's not very expensive. I'm sure prices have gone up, but when we first did this like 7 or 8 years ago, it was like maybe $85 a person. So, and that was for like a 3-hour period. So awesome. Take a GoPro or some type of, underwater camera. And you will not regret it. I mean, worst cases, you come out of it and say either I loved it or, I was very happy, but it's not for me. So, and we fell in love with it. So.
I agree on that, Andrew. And I've done those. Anybody ever goes to Cozumel and wants to try just what you were talking about, I have a hookup for you.
Oh, nice.
A friend that I used to teach with that is a dive master. What a dive master is, she trains the people that want to be scuba diver trainers. That's how high up she is. So yeah, she definitely knows what. But those tri dives, usually it's like a maximum of 4. With one of these, like dive masters or whatever. And I know in Meg's case, this friend of mine I'm talking about, she was always constantly turning around, she was like, are you okay? Everything good. And she teaches you all the hand signals to let you know. And, basically she takes you in knee deep water and you do all the testing of the equipment to make sure you're comfortable, how to clear your mask, how to do all the things, when you're underwater. But it's a surreal experience because you're going to a place where you don't belong. People don't belong swimming with the fishes, right? So when you're swimming down there, I mean, you don't even have to know how to swim because you barely paddle your legs and you just kind of cruise along or whatever. So yeah, it's definitely a magnificent experience. I do want to, Lourdes Rios, sorry I joined late, but any excursions you suggest for Aruba and Curacao? Aruba and Grand Turk are 2 of my places where I say don't overthink it. Lourdes, if you go check out my videos and maybe some of our other creators here have some videos as well. Almost every time I go to Aruba, I go to a beach. The last 3 times, the most recent time, just a few weeks ago, Arashi Beach. That if you go to recently in my video catalog, you'll see Arashi Beach. You'll see how beautiful it was and the fun time that was there. And yeah, it's just absolutely breathtaking. And I left some Easter eggs there at the bar too, so you can check that out. And then the prior to that, Divi Beach is another beautiful beach, which is right next to Eagle Beach, which is the one I went to before. All these beaches are absolutely beautiful. Get yourself an umbrella, a couple chairs, boom, you're done. Get yourself a bucket of beer, and that's it. Like if you were to go to Grand Turk, same thing. Now Curacao, another video I put out, but that one's, you're going to have to go down in the catalog a ways. But, they have this excursion where you go to a bunch of different places. One of those places is like Turtle Cove or something like that, where you get to snorkel and there's turtles all over the place. And then they take you to see flamingos and a couple of their things. So, that's a really fun excursion and you kind of get a taste of the whole island there. So those would be my recommendations. And I don't know if we have any other questions since then.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Aruba or Curacao, and I forget which one, but one of them, one side of the island has a constant trade wind sea breeze. So
it was Aruba.
It was Aruba.
Yeah.
Nothing grows, and there was the bridge, and literally, I guess a couple days before we got there, the sea bridge collapsed. It was just a natural sea bridge. But that side of the island, it's so weird. Nothing grows because the wind is so high on a constant. it's just rocks, and people all stack the rocks on top of each other into little pyramids and stuff like that. But it was weird to go from one side of the island that was just a tropical paradise, lush, amazing, to go to the other side that looked like a nuclear bomb went off. It was, I mean, there's just no foliage, so it's different, but very cool.
There's cactus, right? I think there's cactus.
There wasn't any.
Yeah, that's
is,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
weird. I remember it now.
It's
like,
a weird island.
I think it was really funny because when we went there, I was like, oh, Aruba, so gorgeous. And because I had been there once on a fam trip from my job before, and it was like, so they only showed us the beautiful parts. And then when we went to Aruba, we took the island tour. And so they took us all over the island to all those other places. And I was like, what the heck? Where's this beautiful island that I remember, that I thought it was just, the whole thing was gorgeous and
It was like a
no
desert.
crime and all this stuff. And then I see this massive poverty and I think they also had maybe I'm mixing up the islands, but there was an oil refinery on one island that we did. Maybe that was Curacao. Anyway. So, but yeah, I remember that now, all the cactus, and I was like, what is going on? It was strange, but again, like beautiful, beautiful, beautiful beaches that you can get to in Aruba for sure. So, like I said, Cruz, don't overthink it. Just find yourself a beautiful beach and enjoy.
And a bucket of beer.
Yeah.
Lewis, who I mentioned earlier, Lewis and Monty, they're the ones who just went to Japan on their cruise. So they've already done one of these bucket list cruises. So yeah, Lewis, I'm sure you saw that video I just put out. So you and Monty are in there for a short little bit, the one night that we saw you. Rick had said his favorite is Stingray City. That's been one of my favorites. And Grand Cayman, I mean, it's, waist deep water, stingrays swimming around everywhere. They pick them up for you. You can touch them. You can kiss them. You can feed them.
Waist deep for you.
What area you're standing?
Oh, it's like here.
Yeah, I mean, it was booby. It was booby height for Liz. She was still above water.
Michelle is like up here.
The first time I went to Stingray City again, it was like on a fam trip, and I remember all the women because it was over our heads, and we were like climbing on each other trying to stick because they didn't give us any life vests or anything.
Right.
Trying to get away from it was too funny.
Neat B is on our cruise.
Oh, there you go. So looking forward to Carnival Magic. 727 Curious, is the Port of San Juan, Puerto Rico, close to everything? Yes, it is.
Yes.
If you go to San Juan for the first time, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to buy any excursion because the downtown Old San Juan is just beautiful. It's charming. You can just walk through the streets, see all the colorful buildings, step in a couple different bars, get yourself a nice pina colada, with that really good rum, and maybe
Take a lot of pictures.
lunch. And you don't need to do anything. You don't need to buy an excursion there. So you'll save some money there and just enjoy walking the downtown streets. And you'll just be like, wow, this is really beautiful. And I didn't
Yeah,
have
you can walk up to the castle if you really wanted to and just do the castle.
Yeah.
You mean the fort? The fort?
It's one of the very few ports I would say to do an outside excursion, because when you get off the boat, they have a lot of tour guides, and most of them there are super cheap, and they're back 3 or 4 hours before the boat even leaves. You know what I mean? So that's one of the very few ports where I would say if you want a nice air-conditioned tour, go ahead and do that. And I think last time we paid $21 for like a 3-hour tour, and it took us all the way up to the forts
The fort,
and all that. I'm looking up the hill going, I'm not walking this.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I will say if you're hoofing it through the downtown area and you're trying to find the umbrella street, just ask a local if the umbrella street is full of umbrellas at the time before you
walk all the way over, because every time we've gone there, the umbrellas were not up.
There.
And we've been there 10, 15 times, and not once were they ever up.
We got M74 checked in. Hello.
Emily!
Texas Cruiser loved Curacao. And
Curacao.
what else? We have another question from anybody.
We've also been in the casino in Curacao.
Oh, Lewis is doing the ABC Islands next week on the celebration.
Oh,
Get
nice.
the golf cart in Bonaire, Lewis. You will have a good time on the golf cart in Bonaire. And if you don't know what the golf cart's about, check out my recent video. It was
Yeah, that looked like fun, man. That
carrots.
really did.
Get the carrots. Don't
some carrots with
neglect
you.
the carrots.
Yeah, pick up some carrots because you probably will catch donkeys. Jevin Richardson, welcome aboard. I've never been on a cruise and haven't been on a cruise in a very long time. Well, you need to get back on one.
You do.
It's about time.
Jevin says, do you guys know the biggest ship in the world, the Icon? Yes.
Yes.
Aware of that, but yeah, that is for
Expensive for me.
people that didn't
I
know.
think that's too big.
It's
too
nuts.
big.
They want like $6,000 for an interior room. You know?
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing: it's the biggest ship, and you can only do half of it in a 7-day cruise. So you
Right.
have to book back to back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What were you saying, Andrew?
I almost knocked my whole shelf down.
Oh.
Besides that, I was saying I do want to go on it. It does look a little bit too much, but the prices are absolutely insane. So I'm not going on it anytime soon unless they somehow sponsor all of us. Then we can all have a fun party. But other than that, you will not see me on that ship anytime soon.
Right. Well, Lourdes, check out this bucket list cruise. Leaving out of Barcelona, going to Marseille, Rome, Genoa, Istanbul, Siena, Mykonos, and ending in Athens. How about that one? That is pretty amazing option right there. Luke's
Barcelona.
already ridden the golf cart for Bonaire, and Will G's taken off on us. Thanks for staying along this time, Will G. And let's see, what do we have? Any other questions? Cruise Life TV was just asking Lourdes what cruise line and how many days. Yeah, but we're getting close to the end of it. So, any last questions from anybody watching, or any last comments from any of our guests here, Carnival Cruise Addicts, Funnelheads, or Cruise Life TV? Do we have any questions from any or thoughts or things you wanted to end with?
Well, I got to say, whoever's watching, watch Coach Cruise's Miami video. It's fun.
It was.
I gotta watch that. I haven't watched it yet.
It's only like 5 minutes long, but
I'll watch it right after this.
I'm surprised we were able to get that much footage.
In between the
Yeah.
Oh, M has a question.
About Umbrella Street. Are
No,
all
there's sometimes,
I wouldn't even say sometimes. It's very few times.
depending on the time of year.
Yeah.
So, like, there are other umbrellas. We went at Christmas holiday, and they had doves.
Right.
Then it was like breast cancer awareness, and they had all these pink things. And sometimes it's nothing. So,
Yeah. So there's a lot of little, not a little. There's a lot of political unrest down there. So for some reason they fight with that street to take them down and put them up. I don't know why, but
yeah.
we've yet to see it, and we've been there quite a few times. Seen pictures.
Haven't seen it.
Uncle Dave, this is the comment he left that I was chuckling about. Need to be friends with Coach. Need to be friends with somebody with a boat in the Miami area. Like
Yeah.
not me so much as find somebody in the Florida area with a boat that can take you to doing some of those boating. But yeah, that's what set it off. So Rod and Vicky, they are part of the night crew, along with Sandy and Nora, and Sandy was there as well. So we had 80% of the night crew, and then Greg and Michelle joined us, and they'll be joining us on the New Year's Eve cruise too. So we'll expand that night crew by a couple people at least, and then keep that party going. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then Sean asked, how was the Marlins game? It went to extra innings. It was 2-0 Boston for a while, and Marlins made a comeback late. And then Boston won it in extra innings. So it was a pretty good game. I had one drink there that was ridiculous. I don't know what stand it was, but I mean, it was like straight alcohol. Normally I'll go to a game and I'll have, 3, maybe 4 beers or whatever. But we got this mixed drink, and mine was watermelon flavored or something. But I swear, it tastes like straight alcohol. It took me the whole game to drink it. And then a couple of us had gotten that drink, and we were all like milking it because it was just a ridiculous amount of alcohol. So we definitely didn't get cheated on the alcohol at the Marlins game.
Which is good. They can't win the game, so they might as well make strong drinks. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. Did the Cubs end up beating the Orioles? Because I know we got some Orioles fans on the.
He's checking.
I'm checking right now. Last time I glanced over at the TV, which is behind me, so I can't really see it. You guys are up 7-2. You suck, Coach. In the seventh.
Like I told you, the Cubs actually do suck. So correct on that.
Hey, like I said, I'm used to the O's sucking for an extended period of time, so it's okay. You can't win them all, man.
I mean, I'm not expecting anything from the Cubs. So if the Orioles come back and beat them tonight, I won't be upset. Trust me. They're just.
It would be impressive at this point. 7-2 down. Come on.
Look at that. We got to end, and we're going to end in a great way here. Zoe, come here. Come here. You got a treat coming from Greg and Michelle. High five for that. Hey, thank you. Hey, thank you. All right, so we took care of Zoe, and I'm going to get a shot here. And let me write this down so don't forget. CLTV 56 through 70. So we'll be right, and then CLTV for the second chance, 66 through 70. So we're almost close to the second chance drawing too. And we'll get this big shot filled up here. All right. Great way to end. But thank all of you. Roger Koskins and a bunch of other people are saying goodbye and great show. And Tim is saying bottom of the ninth, Cubs 9-2.
Ooh.
9-2.
We're on delay.
Well, I had it paused earlier, so yeah.
We're delayed an hour.
That's all right.
But thank you, Greg and Michelle, for that.
Cheers.
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 Great time tonight, as always. Next week, again, I'm not sure if I'll be able to go live because of travel and going to Australia and everything, but we'll try. It's a possibility. I will try, but look forward to me at least on the Carnival Splendor all the way from Australia, traveling to Indonesia and then all the way down to Singapore. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification button, not just for me, but for Carnival Cruise Addicts, for Funnelheads, and Cruise Life TV. Do it for all four and hit those like buttons. And we all will appreciate you so much for it. But I think that is it. Thank you, everybody in the comments. There's so many of you to mention right now that's saying thank you and great show and everything that it would take too long to do it. But thank you, all of you. And we will see you all later. Again, make sure you check out my friends here, their channels, and when they're going live and all that great stuff. And we will see you soon, I hope, as early as possibly next Tuesday. But if not, shortly after that, live from Australia. So see y'all later. Take care, everybody.
Safe travels. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.